Okay, guys. I've been thinking about doing this video for quite a while, and for those of you that know me, know that I said that I was going to take some time and think about things and then post a video. I said that those of you that know me know that I recently quit a job that I was in for years. I worked for a social service place, and um, I just paid attention to things going on around me within the city, within agencies, within everything, and came to the conclusion of I can't help the people that need help with, that have nothing with nothing. Because I worked with the homeless population. And for those of you who have never been homeless, you have no idea about what people have endured or what they are currently enduring. So I was told my whole life that my mouth's going to get me in trouble. I had a lot of, be quiet when I was younger. And so I guess my mouth's going to get me in trouble because I'm just going to say it how it is. I did this at every meeting that I went to. I would grab the mic until people took it away. I would say things, which is why the clients that I had, the people that I worked with, would start telling me that I was real. And I couldn't understand that for the longest time. Like, why would I be anything other than real? I don't get it. But I think it was because a lot of the times I just told people, I know you need housing. We're in a housing crisis. Things aren't getting cheaper. Landlords don't want to accept vouchers. People don't want to rent to you based on your background. I get it. I was married before. I had people promise that they would get me a home. I had parents that promised that I could come home. I got kicked out. I got left behind. I've never had my own home. I'm currently renting, and it gets more expensive every time, um, every year that goes by. So, I mean, my bills just went up. So I get it. So I would like to start this conversation first with addressing the people that I helped and that I served. I want to tell you guys thank you, because you guys that know me know that I shared some of what I've been through and some of what I had currently been going through while I was helping you guys. Because a lot of people will judge you based on the clothes you wear, the car you drive, the job you have, the degree you have. And a lot of people had misjudged me my whole life. I've been the kid who sat behind and watched people because I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't, the jock on the team. I wasn't the popular girl. I wasn't whatever. And I think this kept me down for a long time. So when I moved here, I had been through a lot of horrific stuff, and I reached out to people to help, and people didn't help me, family included. And I came here because I had somebody that I really cared about that um, made promises and things that I don't think they knew at the time what things would happen that might bring up issues. So let me just give you a little background. I was a military brat. People ask me where I'm from, and I always say, not really from anywhere. I've been temporarily stationed my whole entire life. I've lived in other countries, I've lived in other states, I've lived in other cities. This was probably the 60 something move of my life. And so for me, a house is a house is a house, a place is a place. And I always consider the people that you're with your home. And a lot of people in my life that I thought were home have really let me down. And because they were there for the good times, and then when the bad times came, they left or kicked me out or, something. So for the longest time, it kept me down. It kept me thinking like there's something wrong with me. Why don't people want to love me for who I am? Why don't people want to pay attention to me for who I am? Why don't people hear me? Why don't people see me? I had been to several therapists in my life. I was a single mother for the majority of my children's lives. And when crisis hit, I would go to therapists. I would try to talk to people, ask for help, ask for advice, and just got told, like, just change your life. as if I didn't already try that. Or, just calm down, just be happy. Take this med, it'll make you happy. And it didn't matter what med I tried, it didn't matter who I talked to. It seemed like, uh, people just didn't get it. I tried explaining to them, like, I have no help. I have no support system immediately. I have no other person to pick up the other child when I went back to college while I was a single parent. And had I known at the time how much time it would take away from my children and attention, I wouldn't have done it. But at the time I was thinking, I need to do this. I was told you should get a degree. You should go back to school. You should do this. What will your children, you need to provide for them. Just on and on. So I had changed. I was a business major first because I was always good with numbers and patterns. And I always said my dream job would be an actuary because I always talked in probabilities and stuff. But I got into that and decided, like, I don't want to sit behind a desk for the rest of my life looking at numbers. I, did some soul searching. And I had one therapist that I saw during my divorce that told me, you're waiting to feel better before you do something. What you need to do is do something in order to feel better. And even at that time, I didn't get that. I didn't get that till like in the years I've been here, that action, makes it happen. So anyway, I want to thank the population that I've been helping, because you guys really helped me more than you know. It was only through helping people going through crisis that I heard myself, that I heard my children, that I heard my mother, that I heard my father, that I heard the people that have hurt me or that I have hurt, repeated in the words that you said. That's why times that, we talked on the ride to somewhere, helping you guys out, I said, I get it. I've never been street homeless, luckily, but I've felt like the child who never had a home. So we have a lot of people that, are not only physically homeless, but, I think that feeling of homelessness also comes from the inner child that's inside of us that feels like, well, I don't know what home is. Home to me was chaotic. Home to me was like strict discipline. Home was abusive. Home was neglectful. Home was, and that's not the way it should have been. But for a lot of us, our parents didn't know any better, just like I didn't know any better. I had several arguments with my children where I would explain to them something and they didn't get it because they're kids. It's our jobs to raise them. And if we don't know, we're going by what our parents taught us, and they didn't know. They were going by what their parents taught us, and the world is ever changing. We don't get it. My children several times told me, it's not about you, mommy. It's about us. Like, I would, I'm the worst mom in the world. And my daughters would be like, it's not about you. It's about us. Stop making it about you. So it's only been the last several years that I heard those echoes, that it clicked with me. And it was only through you guys sharing things. It was only with you guys being real that I started on this path, this spiritual path of realizing, like, the way that I was raised is not the way that is necessarily correct. I was raised in a very controlled environment, very much this is right, this is wrong, do better, I don't know, just very controlled and very much on my parents' ideals and beliefs. And I've always been the back talker, go figure, you guys know that. I always talk back. I always refused to eat the food that I didn't want to eat. I would sit at the table for a long time. I got sent to my room like a million times for talking back. Got my mouth washed out with soap. Things that children shouldn't have to endure. Just like I had moments with my children. I said things that I regretted. I said things out of defensiveness, not knowing better, that not realizing at the time, like, those things stick. Words matter. Actions matter. Children are paying attention. So I know a lot of you out there, you have this inner child that is screaming out because the world doesn't make sense. Sorry, guys, he's really rude. Very needy right now. Anyway, see, I knew this would happen. I was going to write everything down first because I get distracted and then I forget what I'm saying. But that's why when you guys did it, I was like, I get it, you know? Um, but I never understood what all of you guys meant by "you're real." That's why, we come talk to you. That's why we bring you other people and say to help them. I made a distinct choice taking this job of I'm going to be a person of my words and my actions. My words are going to match my actions. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. Now, the place where I worked for had very strict things of this is how you do this, or, very structured ways of you have to do it this way. And I spent years explaining like it can't be done that way with this population. Like they work on trust. Like, you're not just going to hop into the car with somebody that you don't know. You're not just going to put all your faith and trust in somebody that you don't know. It's going to be by sitting back and watching. And so I just want you guys to know that, it means the world to me and meant the world to me at a time because some of you know some of the stuff that I've been through. Some of you know, some of the stuff that I was currently going through. And there were some days that that's all that got me through. That, I heard I love you from you guys more than uh, from people around me. I heard I care about you. I heard people, offer to protect me if I needed so when somebody went off on me and was screaming at me. You know, my original boss told me, just remember desperate people do desperate things. And, I've had moments in my life where I was desperate. I've had moments where I was in hotels with my girls, not knowing where we were going to live, not knowing, you know, um, what the next place was going to be. And I didn't realize at the time that I kind of did to my children what was done to me. I moved them around a million times. I made them say goodbye to friends. I said things that I regretted. I acted out of, or reacted out of emotions that I was feeling that I didn't understand because the kid in me that's always been there, didn't really know what home was, didn't really know what safety was, didn't really know what expressing myself was because I was hushed. I was silenced. I was, very much the outcast. It was only through you guys that I embraced my differentness, my uniqueness. And you guys were like, you want to dye your hair? Dye your hair. Like right now, my hair is this color. It hasn't been this color since I was little, but this is only because it bleached out because I dyed it purple last year. Because I was like, oh, well, I'm reaching that age. What the hell? It's just hair. Let me go ahead and dye my hair. So I dyed it several different colors and and I can remember my children telling me, like, Mommy, dye your hair if you want. Wear what you want. Do what you want. And it was only because I thought, like, what will people think about me if I do that? What will people think if I put that bumper sticker on my car? What will people think if they, hear the music that I'm listening to? What will people think? And not realizing that that was an internal thought process that I had from childhood of being judged, of being shamed, of being criticized, of being punished, just for simply, wanting to express myself in my own way. So I just want you guys to know that, I really appreciate everything that everybody did for me. I never had anybody steal from me. I never had anybody harm me. I get it. I've had clients scream at me. I've had clients cry in front of me. And at first it really shook me. Um, but then as time went by, I realized like, that was me at one point. I've had those moments. I would tell people, I get it. You want to scream? Like, I'll pull over my car and you can scream out the door, but then we got to get back inside and try to make it to the appointment, or you're going to have to wait, more weeks. But also, um, see, I did it again. Forgot what I was saying because I looked over at the cat again. Um, anyway, so I told you guys I was going to take a month off and then you guys would see me again. and it would be on my terms. And I would do brainstorming because it seems like organizations, want things a certain structured way. And I have explained over and over again, it doesn't work that way. If a person's hungry, they need food first. If they're thirsty, they need water first. They need safety first. It brought me back, and you clients know, I would say, it's like the Maslow's hierarchy. Like, you have to feel safe. You have to have your physiological needs met. You have to have food. You have to have shelter. You have to have anything before you can feel like you belong anywhere. And I don't know, I know you guys have mostly noticed, but I don't know if the rest of the world has noticed. Like, it's not getting any easier. Things aren't getting cheaper. Like, they're, trying to do stuff with Medicaid. The recent article was about taking away food stamps in November. And so I know you guys are in fear. I know you guys are in panic. I know it seems like people don't care. I know, places tell you can't sit here, you can't go here, you can't, and a lot of you only hear can't a lot, and not that you can. But I just want you to know, just like I did when I was out there, like, you can do things. Go write letters to the city government, write letters to your congressman, write letters to people. I know you think it doesn't matter, but if enough people do, like, they have to listen. They have to pay attention to what's going on. Because I know you feel like you're not seen, or you're seen for the wrong things. And I get that, because that's been me my whole entire life. I've had people videotape me in my worst possible moments. When I felt like the world was caving in. I've had people mock me and make fun of me while I was crying on the floor. I've had people shame me and judge me based on who they think I am. I've grown a lot because of you guys. I've learned to express myself in ways that seem more, I don't know, softer in the way that I just, express myself. Because you guys have seen, I can be quiet and I can be loud. I had those days. I had those days where I was like, please don't touch me. Please, I've had a lot going on, but it was you guys who offered a hug, who told me thank you, who, gave kind words when you didn't have to, who, looked out for my vehicle when I forgot to roll up my windows, who, I don't know, treated me like I was a human being. And I think a lot of people out there forget that you guys are human beings. A lot of people would rather drive by and not pay attention. A lot of people would rather judge you based on your worst actions that you've ever done, whether it was intentional or unintentional, or whether it was when you were young and you didn't know better. Our country doesn't seem very forgiving. Our country doesn't seem like they care about the little guy, especially now. They forget. We're young. I had a professor in school that talked about world history and tried explaining to the young folks how young we were, and said, we're still in the beta version. Like, we're still the teenager testing the game. And sometimes it takes people learning over and over and over again. That's not working. We have to do something different. Unfortunately, I don't think in the state of affairs that we're in, with cities, states, our country in general, that people are willing to learn or are willing to do things differently. It seems like it's getting more constrictive. It seems like there's getting more rules. There's some rules that have to be in place, but there's some rules that don't. There's some things that don't make sense. Why make it harder, on people that already have it hard? There's so many judgmental people. I've seen it in social services even. I tried to do everything I could to encourage you guys to be self-sufficient, talk for yourselves, but I've seen in the places where I've taken people, the way that you guys have gotten treated, the way you guys have gotten talked to. I've seen the way that people have judged. And I try not to because, to each their own. I can see where in my past, I've been that way, um, based on my parents' beliefs, based on I was raised, this music is trash and of the devil. And, these people don't associate with them. And, very much the put on a show or hide behind yourself or whatever. And it was only as I got older and only when I lost almost everything I ever had that I realized, you have to be true to your word. You have to show people. You have to, words can only go so far. And I know you guys understand that. And so I don't know how to thank you guys enough. One of the reasons that I also quit was because, you guys have offered me, sit down and have a meal with me, sit down and have a chat with me, sit down, I'll teach you crochet, I'll do these things. And because of the place where I worked, it was you can't accept anything from anybody. These are the restrictions. You can't give people a ride that aren't your clients. You can't, when I'm thinking like, I'm going that way anyway. And I understand it was for liability issues and all that. But, people don't understand. People don't understand if they haven't been through hell and back. They don't understand what hell is. And for a lot of people, hell is, going on right now. A lot of people have been to hell. A lot of people are living in hell. Like I was raised, I'm just going to share a little bit. Like I was raised to believe that, God is this dude in the sky judging everybody, like sitting on his throne. And I used to think like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would bad things happen? Does he not care? Is he not coming to save us? Is he not, and I would pray and pray and pray. And at several points in my life, I screamed, why me, God? Why me? Like, I didn't intend on being a single parent. It wasn't my choice. I didn't intend on, losing everything I had. I didn't intend on meeting people who, took from me until I had nothing left. I didn't intend. I didn't plan when I went into relationships to get abused. I didn't plan on people trying to shut me up. I didn't plan on all these things. And, it's only been the last few years that I realized, like, some things you can't plan for, some things you can. Life happens. Life is hard. Life is tough. And I get that it's so much tougher for you guys. And I feel for you guys so much. I think one of the problems going on right now is people have lost their empathy. People forget. That's why I try to speak up at every place that I am. I'm like, what if that was your mother? What if that was your child? Like, these people have trauma that goes all the way back. They remember things they shouldn't. They have memories they shouldn't. They have relationships that they, don't understand right and wrong because that's all they've ever known. But I know that you guys have skills. I've seen it. I know that you guys can do things. I mean, many of you have offered when I've had car issues. You guys have offered to fix my car, and when I was asking people, are you hungry? It was you guys that asked me, like, did you eat? Did you, you look like you're losing weight. Did you sleep okay? Did you? So I think that the solution is going to have to be that you guys are going to have to come up with a solution. There are people out there who are willing to help you. There are people out there who care. Unfortunately, there's a lot that don't. There's a lot that want to avoid. There's a lot that want to look past you. There's a lot that have judgmental things because the media will pick the worst thing and put it up there and not, videotape people doing kind things and nice things. That's the way the media works, and some people only watch a certain news station, only watch the certain media, and I've tried in this town to make friends with a lot of people, and I would hear them say some remarks about you guys and correct them. Like, where'd you get that information from? That's not true. You know, I understand you're fearful. I understand you're angry. I understand, you know, everywhere you go, they say you can't be here. That they would just rather you go away, honestly. I mean, they would rather you just shut up and be quiet. And that incites rage. You know, I had that in my childhood, and I've had that in my adulthood, where I said, like, you can't shut me up. You can't make me be quiet. Like, I have my opinions. I have my things. But unfortunately, you know, the powers that be will ban you, will shut you up, you know, will do things to evoke that anger in you just so they can label you exactly what they thought you already were. You know, I've had relationships where people said, "Oh, you're just being this way." And I said, "No, I'm expressing my opinion." Like, yes, I raised my voice, but first I wrote it, and then I tried saying it nicely, and then I tried using a metaphor, an analogy, and I tried every possible way of communicating. Now I'm saying it loud, like maybe if I say it louder. But, you know, you can't try to change people's perception of you if they've already got their mind made up. You can't force people to learn. You can't force people to be educated. If people don't want to pay attention to what's going on around them in our city, in our state, in homes, if people don't want to take acknowledgement for their actions, their words, you can't force them to. Like, it's free will for people. Unfortunately, a lot of people are blind to how they are. A lot of people, it's only those of us like you guys that are sitting back paying attention, you know, to, well, this person said they'd help me and then they never showed up. This person said whatever and then they didn't do it. And I get it. So, you know, within you guys, I know you have skills. If you think you can't write it, you know, ask somebody that you know that can, you know, within the community. There are very well spoken, very well written people. You know, if you don't know how to fix your bike, ask somebody that does. And for those of you who people are asking, you know, you guys are going to have to band together. You help each other out. I've seen it. Unfortunately, whenever they started breaking up camps, which I believe were families that you guys made with each other, they started breaking up families. And, you know, that's the intention of the entities that be, is to divide, is to keep people separated. Like, that's the way our country is right now. People are separated. So much so that, you know, this side and this side, just everybody wants to win. And it's winning at all cost. And they don't understand the things that they're implementing, the withholding that they're doing. You know, I won't help you unless you do this. I'm going to take this away, and then, you know, then you'll behave. They they don't get it because it's not affecting them. It's not. I tried for years to tell people, like, I need help. I need another person out here. I need, you know, there are hundreds of people out here that need help, and I only have so many hours. And I try to get stuff done as fast as I can, and I try to be true to my word, but, you know, there's one of me. I used to say, you know, I'm really good at helping out other people. I'm really good at helping people get organized. I'm really good at helping people collect their thoughts. I'm really good at, I wasn't good at that with myself. And so I reached this point where I said, like, you know, I would say, I wish I had another me. And I came to this conclusion of, like, there's not another me. Like, I have to be that me to me. I have to be able to organize myself. I have to be able to keep track of myself. I have to hold myself accountable. I have to push myself forward. I have to try to be a better me. That's all I can do. I don't know what all the solutions are going to be, But I'm willing to discuss things. I'm willing to have meetings. I'm willing to, unfortunately, right now, I had a car accident that my car is not drivable right now. And it caused some other things that you guys know of, I'm sure. And so I don't have wheels right now, and I live outside the city limits. So that's why you guys haven't seen me, or else I would have already been out there helping in the ways that I can, on my terms, to where I can help who I want to help without restrictions and without, boundaries, just my own boundaries, not those by entities that are paying me. So I don't know what the solutions are going to be, but I think that the biggest thing is you guys are going to have to help each other out. You guys are going to have to remember, that other person across the room, they're homeless just like you. Maybe they're raging right now, or maybe they're going through something right now, but they're in the same position that you are. They need that basic hunger, basic, those hierarchy of needs. They need that too. And maybe they just don't have it right now. Lift each other up. I've seen it. You guys do it. You guys tell each other to keep going. I've seen you guys help each other out, find each other stuff and share your belongings. And, one idea for those of you who have phones, let the person who can't get a phone use your phone to call if they need something. Research something, play it, and if it resonates with you, share it with a friend. I mean, a lot of you are spiritual. A lot of you, you've been outside. The environment has taught you a lot of things. Like, you are survivors, not victims. I used to be in that victim mentality, thinking, poor me, woe is me. And you guys humbled me. I realized I have a lot more than people that are outside. It's terrifying being outside. I've had jobs where I walked back and forth in the night because I didn't have a vehicle and I had nobody to help me. Currently, I have, a couple people that have helped me here and there, but I've been walking around. I've been walking to the store and back. I've been walking to the bank and back because I know how to walk. I've had relationships where people thought, if I leave you, you have nothing. And I just sat back and thought, like, well, you didn't hear all my story. I thought you knew me, because had you listened, you'll know. I know how to walk. I know how to fix stuff. I know how to do stuff. I had a mother who didn't wait on somebody to get stuff done. She taught us kids, like, you get it done. You do it. And I've had to slow down now so much that, knowing I can't do everything by myself, but it's made me ask for help. It's made me, know when it's okay to let people in and when it's not. It's made me appreciate the things that I had more. It's changed me, and you guys are the biggest part of that. So, I don't know. I've been floating around ideas. I don't know if it's going to have to be like, if they take away food stamps, then you guys might have to share, like, who goes to the food bank that day, and, get your food and share it with somebody else. And then the next day, another person goes, because, they even the food banks don't realize, like, you can't carry around 2 weeks worth of food. You don't have a refrigerator. You don't have a stove. You can't camp places. You can't, they don't get it. People don't get it if they haven't been there. And I think that's why so many of you guys said, I appreciate you. You're real. You're different than everybody. You're real. It's only because I get it. I know. I've been tired so many times of walking. I've been terrified of being out there by myself. I've not known things and had to look it up and YouTube it, Google it. I've had to teach myself a lot of skills. I've had to, do things on my own. I've had to teach myself to be comfortable in my skin. And it was only because you guys showed me. It was only because, you guys showed me just be you. So I don't care, if you're a guy or girl, wear what you want. Express yourself how you want. The government's not going to recognize it. The government's not going to give you the pronoun you want or the identity that you want, because they're trying to constrict and they're trying to divide this or that. And not everybody's different. Like that's what we're supposed to be. People have forgot. Like, we're supposed to be the land of the free. We're supposed to be the place, the country that people came to for asylum. We're supposed to be the place that wanted to make things different, not this patriarchal society that wants to constrict, that wants to control, that wants to use withholding, that wants to, judge. We're supposed to be a certain way, but society's forgotten. Our country has really forgotten. But I want you to know that I haven't forgotten you. Like, I'm still here. I'm just delayed a little bit. I'm working on it. And even if I can't be out there with you right now, I'm gonna, start posting stuff. I'm gonna start brainstorming about things. If you guys have skills, teach each other things. If you have a phone, start your own YouTube. If you know how to crochet, if you know how to, build bikes, if you know how to, play the guitar, if you know how to do all those things, like, start your own channel. I mean, I made the joke years ago after the pandemic of, like, is everybody YouTubing? Like, where's the workforce gone? Like, I don't understand. Are they TikToking? Yeah, they are. You know why? Because there are people throughout this whole entire world, because of the internet, that want to click on that would rather, you would rather see somebody who actually is doing it than reading a book, who need demonstration. There are people that can learn from you outside of your direct settings. And apparently YouTube will pay you for that. So I started on this on Facebook because I'm old school, and even Facebook intimidates me sometimes. But I mean, my kids were the technology people. We didn't have this stuff growing up. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. I mean, you Gen Xers know that. We didn't have this stuff. So I'm still updating myself. I get frustrated. I mean, I'm trying to learn new video games and I get intimidated by the controller. I get intimidated by technology. It's intimidating. Go to the library, ask them how to use the computer, and if the people that are supposed to help you, that are being paid by places to help you, don't help you, then you ask your friends, you ask the family that you have around you, teach me the thing, show me. And, for those of you that are in fear, that are in anger, that are, look up holistic healing. Look up things, how do I regulate my emotions? How do I express myself? Because here's what happens. If you react and you scream, people are going to label you that way. They're going to say, see, I told you. I told you you were antagonistic. I told you you were rageful. I told you were bad. And it just justifies whatever they already thought. It gives them control, to try to make you small. But there are going to be multiple ways to make money. You're going to have to do it yourself. You can't rely on government entities to come through. You can't rely on, the kindness of strangers driving by, because some of them don't want to see. Some of them don't have cash. Nobody carries cash anymore. Some of them, they're pinching their pennies. You can't get mad because somebody, can't let you live with them because they'll lose their housing. If I let somebody else live with me that wasn't on my lease, I would lose my housing. You're going to have to come up with solutions. And I know there are brilliant thinkers out there. All of you are worth doing things for yourself. All of you are worth food, shelter, belonging, love. All of you are worth it. Regardless of your past mistakes. We are not the same person that we used to be. We change all the time. As the environment changes, we change. It as not only the physical environment, but as technology changes, we change. I mean, if somebody would have told me you'd be making a video and posting it online even a year ago, I would have said you're crazy, because I'm very introverted usually. Like, the people that know me really know me. If I care, I will share parts. I will tell people, if you want to know my story, come talk to me. I would rather you come talk to me where I can explain myself than for you to make some misjudgment about me. And it is only through, the job that I had and being around you guys and hearing myself and the words that you said, hearing, things that you guys said of like, oh, where I thought like, oh, is that how I made my kids feel? Like, oh, that's how, my parents made me feel. Oh, that's how my friends made me feel. Like, I know that feeling. And, it makes us all relatable. We're all human beings. We're all, on this earth to let our light shine. And the only way I think that it's going to happen now is if we shine for others. Trust your instincts. Trust your guts. If somebody asks you to do something and it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Remember, you have rights. You can say no. You can say, I don't want to. You can, if somebody tells you you're trespassed, you tell them, give me a trespass ticket. People want to keep people in fear-based mind frames. Because if you can make people fearful, you can control them. I really feel like that's what our government's doing is, using scare tactics. And it just divides more and more and more. And I just see them chipping away. I mean, all the way down to, like I said, I've been thinking about this video and doing things for months and months. It's really been, this year that I just thought, like, I don't know if I can work for this place anymore. That doesn't seem like they want to help me or appreciate me. I don't know if I can be around people who don't appreciate the things that I do for them, who take and don't give. So I saw the article the other day about food stamps, and November's coming up, and people don't realize that for a lot of you, that's all you have. All you have is your food stamps. So it's like we're still in the pandemic. I know they said it was over, but it's like in the mindset, we're still there. People are still wearing masks, not just physically, but metaphorically. People are still pretending like things are better than what they are. People are still blind. Some people have gone back to sleep. They're not woke. I've been guilty of this in my past. I've been blinded by not paying attention to those directly around me and how my actions and my words affected them. But I made a vow that I was going to be better, that I'm going to be a better person, so that I can, not only for myself, but so that I can show people that I'm bettering myself. I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about the traumas that I've been through in my life and how some of those I put myself into situations that, I shouldn't have. I brought people into my life that I shouldn't have. I put all of my faith and all of my trust in people when I shouldn't have. I should have had trust in myself. But I was raised, do what I say, not what I do. Or do what I do, not what I say. And spent a lifetime of attracting the same kind of people. Attracting relationships, whether it was romantic or friendships, that reflected my childhood, that I thought was my comfort zone. But, if it's your comfort zone, it shouldn't make you feel fearful. It shouldn't make you feel judged. It should make you feel safe. It should make you feel comfortable. And I understand that a lot of you out there don't feel comfortable. I understand that you're terrified. I understand that the weather's changing and it's going to be freezing cold. And this inner child that you have, is terrified. And you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. You don't, the people that are supposed to help don't. The people that were supposed to help you in the past didn't. Or, held you to your worst state that you ever had based on whatever was going on. But we're going to have to move out of that comfort zone and redefine, what is safety to you? What is love to you? What is friendship to you? If you have people telling you horrific things about you, that is their own judgment. That's on them. A lot of it's projection. A lot of it's deflection. If you have, everybody has that inner voice that tells them right and wrong. That's your conscience. That's a lot of it. It's supposed to be your inner child. But for a lot of us, you were left with what your parents thought, what people around you thought and portrayed to you when you were younger, of you're not good enough, you're too much, you're not enough, you're this, you're that. And they don't understand, especially for us Gen Xers, nobody ever asked us how we felt. Nobody ever asked us what was going on with us. We didn't have the counselors in school asking about our feelings. We didn't have these things. I thought things were improving with them creating programs and bringing that into schools and bringing that into families. But then now we've done the reverse again. I'm trying not to make things political, but, people are not paying attention to what's being said and what's being done. And they usually don't until it affects them. I have been guilty in the past of not realizing what people were going through until I was in that position, until I was terrified with my children going, I don't know where we're going to live. I don't know. Not having anybody to call, not having anybody to ask, because all the people that were supposed to didn't. And I know for a lot of us, if the people that you thought were supposed to take care of you and supposed to love you didn't, then why in the world would you ever think anybody else would? But there are people out there that care. And I know for a lot of you, you care about each other. I know that you're looking out for each other. I know that you guys are helping each other in every way that you can. Try not to let the fear guide you. Try not to let the anger guide you, because I have seen the people that hold the rule books, the people that hold the things that you need will use it against you. They will label you. They will, restrict you. They will constrict you because they just want you to go away. They don't want to admit that our country is out of control, that it's becoming more and more restrictive and causing more and more negative feelings. We're having disasters everywhere. Mother Nature is rebelling. People are rebelling, they don't get it. They just don't get it. But you guys do. So try to be kind to each other. Try to help each other out. I know, as soon as I get my car fixed, I'm going to be helping again. I'm going to be doing things. I'm brainstorming. We can have discussions about what to do next. Play music for each other. A lot of you I know, when I started, I didn't understand, are guys into sports and girls are into... No, all of you, music is in common. Listen to music. If you have a radio and your friend doesn't, play the song. Let them listen to it too. Play music for each other. Get up and dance in the park. You know, work through those emotions through that song. Share things with each other the way you shared with me. A lot of you opened up my music library, you know, teaching me like not all of this is bad and not all of this is, you know, one certain way. You guys opened up my lingo. You opened me up to the rest of the world rather than, you know, the places that I've been. So I'm probably going to end this now. I don't think I'm going to rewatch it because then I'll just edit myself and feel bad about I should have said this or I should have said that or whatever. But, you know, write stuff down. If you can't say it, if you feel like nobody's listening, write it down. If you don't want to keep it, rip it up, throw it away, you know, just to get it out. Sometimes you got to get it out, but you got to get it out in healthy ways. You know, I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to have to be at this level. We're going to have to help each other out. And you guys are you're going to have to turn to each other, do some brainstorming, you know, create your own TikToks, teach people the stuff, show there are millions of people out there that want to learn, you know. I still don't know how to crochet, and I've had many people, clients and not clients, say that they would teach me how to, but I couldn't based on the place where I worked. Well, now I can. So, you know, if I'm out there one day, I might say, yeah, sure, teach me how to crochet. I bought myself a guitar, and I did take a couple lessons in college, but I had the teacher that would only teach me a certain song, you know, really didn't teach me how to play. I keep trying to teach myself how to play, but I think some of my learning is seeing it. Like I have to see somebody else do it to put myself in that place. So, you know, do jam sessions with each other. You know, put on little concerts for each other. You know, be respectful. You know, you guys watch. I know a lot of you out there are numbing yourselves. You know, watch what you accept from people. There's some really dangerous stuff out there. You know, trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, if some part of you says, I don't think so, don't. Because things might happen that will traumatize you worse. Things could happen that could kill you. You know, and later on, you'll say, like, I knew there was something about it, you know. Be kind to each other, help each other out, and I'll catch you guys soon. All right? Love you.